What's up, you guys? So this is just a message for everyone, really, and whether you believe in God or not, whatever school of thought you follow, whatever your beliefs are, wherever you are in life, whatever you're experiencing, just know underneath it all, even though you might not be able to perceive it or feel it or know it or even believe it, because sometimes it can get really dark, the clouds can come over, just know that the sun is always shining, which means you are loved, always, in all circumstances, in all time, in all dimensions, rendering space, time and dimensions pretty much obsolete as to measure your worth. You are 100% totally worthy. That you will always carry, because that is who you truly are. You are love itself, you are worth itself, you are abundance itself. It doesn't matter what your body goes through, because the body's going to go through changes, but you don't go through changes in terms of your worth, your abundance, your deservability of that love. You are integral to this entire cosmic creation, just like every cell in the body serves a function, but each cell has a different function, but each cell makes up the whole. If you weren't worthy, you wouldn't exist. And sometimes these words that I'm saying will be hard to believe, just because the clouds can be over so much, it can seem so dark, it doesn't really make sense, you don't want to believe it. Sometimes the words may even anger you, anger might come up, but you are still loved, you are still worthy, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter what you believe, even if you're struggling, even if you're lashing out, even if it's hard to believe. Sometimes we might go through painful processes, sometimes our bodies may even die. But on a spirit level, on a soul level, we are all loved. We are love itself. We are worthy. Just know that you are an integral part to this entire creation. And even if you don't know that or want to believe that or even feel that, eventually you will come to know who you truly are. Eventually, all suffering, all questions will be transcended. It might not even be in this lifetime. We might not even know what happens after death. Some people believe that we don't have a life after death. But it doesn't matter, because let's say we're having a life full of problems, death will end those problems, because that body will no longer exist, that personality and character will no longer exist, so the problem is solved. But you are loved always, in all circumstances, in all situations, no matter what choices you decide to make. We are eternal beings. Again, it might be something that we can't know right now, or believe, or have faith in. But it's there. It is the truth of existence, of reality, not of illusion. We can think ourselves to be something that we're not. I can think myself to be limited and always going to be limited. If I thought that about my health when I was younger, I would never have taken the effort to become healthy. I had to first believe that it was possible to experience health. And when I first heard these words from my teachers, you are perfect, you are whole, you are complete, you are a spiritual being. Anything that changes isn't you. We are not subject to change in reality, as our true nature, our true essence. Which is why on the yogic path, the process of self-realization, finding out who we truly are, asking the question, who really am I? How can I be this body if it's constantly going through change? If I think I'm the body, then yes, it's understandable that I would be fearful of death, because I am afraid of losing what I know, which is why I can unnecessarily suffer psychologically by holding on to the things, like my body wanting to live forever in a certain state of being. but life continually encourages us to change or goes through change. But that is the cosmic play or the cosmic dance, like watching a film. But when you watch a film and there's an explosion on the screen, it doesn't affect you because it's part of the movie. And this is like an immersive reality where we're in it. We're experiencing all the sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, thoughts and emotions. But our spirit, which gives life to this body, isn't affected. Just like the electricity in the light bulb in this room up here gives light when the switch is turned on, but as soon as I turn the switch off, the electricity withdraws from that light bulb and it looks like the light bulb is dead. But it's the electricity that makes it come alive. Just so to the spirit within the same spirit that animates every object and allows this entire creation to be, is what gives life to everything, without which there would be no life. So spirit is life itself, and this is how that undifferentiated spirit manifests itself as the differentiated cosmic manifestation. And when we allow life to move through us, we become one with the underflow and currents of life, the natural flow of life. And then we recognize we are loved, that the wave is the ocean, and the wave recognizes its power, but it also recognizes that it no longer needs to hold on or possess or control or dominate or be afraid, because it will exist in time as, say, this body, but then at the dissolution of this body, the wave will be reabsorbed back into the ocean, ready to take on another form. But the wave, the ocean is love itself, the spirit is love itself, it's eternal, it exists beyond space-time. And if you've seen the film Interstellar, even in that movie it mentions that love is the one phenomena, inexplicable, that can transcend space-time and dimension. Like gravity, which holds everything together, an attractive force. And that spirit is one, and nothing is excluded from that one spirit. It can manifest as light and dark, positive and negative, tall and small, good and evil. However, it's the same one spirit manifesting itself in this cosmic play, in this cosmic dance. And whichever side of the fence you sit on, whether you sit on the left or the right or in the middle, you are all loved. We are all love itself. And so to realize the self, one comes to know oneself and then can move with the natural tides and currents of this cosmic play without feeling like constantly anxious, without feeling constantly anxious of, oh, I'm going to die. A bit like I felt when I first went on a roller coaster when I was younger. I thought I was going to die, so I held on for dear life, and it was very traumatic. But you can have a lot of fun on a roller coaster. You'll still have the ups and downs, but to experience the roller coaster in a more fun, exciting way, one has to surrender and let go and know that they are safe and fine. And so this is a message for everyone to say, you are loved. And I know sometimes we don't feel that. Sometimes we get really shitty, dark thoughts and we can't see the light. And even when the loving message comes, we want to tell it to F off. But eventually you will come through, you will pull through. Everyone pulls through, every single one pulls through. Maybe not in this lifetime, but never lose hope of that, because I thought I would never see the light of day in this lifetime. And even if you feel hopeless, that too shall pass. Take whatever loving measures you need to take. Speak to your friends, go for a walk, have some time alone, watch some movies, go and see a therapist, eat the food that you love, go to the gym, do what you need to, be kind to yourself, ask yourself the question, what would be most loving for me right now? What would lift my mood? Just a little bit. And then incrementally start doing the things that you love that will lift your mood incrementally. You don't have to go from being down here to all the way up there in one step. Just take your time, build your way up. Because the light calls us. Just like a plant, when it grows towards the light. But the roots start in the dark. So this darkness that you're going through is building a solid foundation. You are a strong, divine, powerful being. Even if the entire society condemns you and judges you for what you've done. that society might even take your life because of the rules and laws of the society. But beyond that, on a true spiritual level, you are loved, you are worthy, you are whole. And it's just the temporary covering the character that we play in this cosmic play. Just like each movie has good and bad characters, so too our lives have good and bad experiences, pleasant and unpleasant characters. Underneath all that, it's the same one cosmic manifestation. It's the same spirit embodying everything. And if you look for the patterns, you'll see them. Just like in a movie, it's all shown on the same TV screen, whether it's a good guy or a good person or a bad person, or a good character or a bad character. It's the same electricity that's coming through. So when we trace back all the manifestation, where does it originate from? What is the one source? And that source you might call God, you might call love, you might call the universe, whatever you call it. Just know that we are extensions of that one source, that one singular source, which is infinite, eternal, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. And even if these words don't make sense, just listening and taking this in will let you know how loved you are, because whoever's meant to see this will see it. And I've been in some dark places, so I'm speaking from experience here. But one thing I never lost was, I can't say I never lost hope, because I did. There was even times when I lost hope, but something still pulled me through. So even if you lose hope and faith, you cannot fail, because even if you give up, you can't give up, because the divine will, the spirit within you will encourage you to move. And no matter what happens, no matter what path you choose, even when the body comes to its dissolution through whatever process you might go through, the spirit lives on, and that's the eternal aspect. Again, whether you believe that or not doesn't really matter too much, but the idea is to keep your mind open to the possibility that someday you might see the truth, you might see the divine, because God is love. Love is all there is. And even if we assume there isn't a God, what qualities can we imbue? Kindness, compassion, forgiveness, unconditional love. If a father or mother can be like that with their child, why can't the creator of the universe be like that with its creation? We might ask, well, why is there so much suffering in the world? Perhaps it's because we choose that suffering, because we choose to hold on to negative, dark thoughts and not ask the question of, perhaps I can let these thoughts go and replace them with something more positive. Like the ones I've just shared with you. You are loving, you are abundant. Your wealth isn't how much muscle you've got, or what your body fat is, or how much money you've got, or how many friends you have, or how many businesses you've opened, or how many people you've helped. It's just you. Your very being is abundant itself. You can share peace, happiness, joy, because that's what you truly are. When the mind is not agitated with egoic thoughts, what's left is a peaceful mind. It's not nothingness, it's peace. Just like in deep sleep, it's peaceful. But you can remain awake and still be in the bliss of sleep whilst going about your daily business. And in the Taoist school of thought, there's a phrase, I'm not sure if I'm saying it properly, but it's wu wei, spelt, well, the spelling I've seen is WU-WEI, and loosely translated, it means the art of effortless living, where the analogy I came up with was, imagine, in fact, I think this is paraphrased from Alan Watts, so I can't take credit for this, the late philosopher Alan Watts. Imagine trying to row a boat across the ocean, which would be very difficult. You could do it, but if you learn how to sail and you put up a sail, a mast and a sail, you can use the wind and the currents and navigate. So life too, if you tap into it and you open up and you embrace the highs and the lows, you can learn to use every moment, every situation, every high and low to navigate life. Or like a surfer would surf the waves, or a skateboarder would skate in the skate park. I'm not too much into skateboarding myself, but I've seen it, and you imagine you've got You've got the ramp, it goes down, then it goes up. You've also got the edges. So there is potential. Yes, you could fall over and hurt yourself. But if I couldn't feel anything, then the process of, say, making love, being intimate with a partner, wouldn't be as intimate, wouldn't be as beautiful. So yes, the sense of touch, I can touch softly, but then I can also touch hard. I can't experience the joy if I don't have a sense of touch. So everything in its dual nature allows us to have a fantastic experience, which is love itself. And just know that you can handle it, because whatever you're going through right now, you're able to handle. Otherwise, you wouldn't be handling it. You cannot be overwhelmed, because you wouldn't know you're overwhelmed if you were overwhelmed, because you'd be overwhelmed. But your infinite self is aware of the feeling of being overwhelmed. And it might be overwhelming for the body, but it won't be overwhelming for the spirit. At the time, it feels like that. But how would you be aware that you're overwhelmed if you weren't overwhelmed? If you weren't aware you were depressed, you wouldn't feel depression. Now, to feel depression and to allow it to come in, or sadness, or heaviness, or anger, or whatever feeling it might be, is a very loving space that it's coming into, which is spirit. Spirit will allow, just like the sun will shine on anyone, and the rains will fall on the saint and sinner alike. The space of awareness, the space of your spirit, allows it all in, but remains untouched, unperturbed. Just like the space which allows everything to be in this universe is untouched by what takes place within that universe. So too, your spirit, our spirit, it's the same spirit that allows all this to be. It just appears as though we're separate. And it's that idea of separation, or the illusion of separation, which creates so much suffering. And a lot of our suffering can be alleviated when we recognize our true nature. And so embarking on a journey to uncover the truth about ourselves is what suffering can be used for. And as the late Ram Dass would say, suffering is grace. We can use suffering just like pressure shapes a diamond, or a diamond is formed under pressure. Again, another paraphrase quote. The pressures of life, the suffering, encourages us to naturally grow and evolve. And you see it everywhere. Even when a plant grows through the ground, or a tree blowing in the wind. And sometimes it is time for death, which then creates a rebirth. So embrace it all, because you are more powerful than you might think. And that's why these dark feelings do come in, because we're so strong and powerful and unconditionally loving, everything can come towards us. And we can seemingly block ourselves off, we can numb certain types of things, but when you allow yourself to experience the full depth of your own darkness and the full depth of your own light, you will sit in the middle, and then you'll have a front and a back, a top and a bottom, a left and a right, an inside and an outside. We wouldn't have this three-dimensional universe if we didn't have all the different directions. We'd live on a flat screen, which is also fine. Just like you're seeing me on a flat screen. However, you're looking at me on a three-dimensional device. So embrace it all. And again, just know that you are loved, you are divine, you are whole, you are powerful. You will get through this. You are getting through this. Otherwise, you wouldn't be experiencing it. You're reaching new heights. You're transcending the gravitational pull of your old life. Come to a space of love. How would you want to be treated? Treat yourself and those around you in the most loving way possible. In a way which maintains your integrity, that doesn't harm yourself or others, including your body, including other living beings, including the environment. My go-to was chocolate and coffee and going for walks and watching movies. That's what really helped me get back into a state of love. And it took its time. It was gradual. Once I went through that process, I started to change my diet naturally, because that's what I just felt it was the right time. And I started to join back into the gym and back at clubs. Sometimes it might not be like, it might not look like that. It might look totally different for you, but it will feel loving. Love doesn't harm anybody or anything. Namaste, everyone.